Well, hello everyone, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new video. Today I'm going to be sharing 4 card ideas that I made with Hero Arts' brand new holiday release, and I'm going to show you how you can make these really beautiful and festive cards using some of the new products. I'm going to start first by making this really beautiful background using the color layering Folk Winter Animals stencil set from Hero Arts. This is the stencil set. It comes with 3 stencils that you can layer together to make this really beautiful pattern. I'm going to use 2 of the layers with my inks and blending brushes, and then that 3rd layer that I'm holding in my hand, that one is going to be done with paste, so we get some really cool effects. I'm going to put my paper, this is an A2 size piece of cardstock, onto my Simon Says Stamp and Stencil mat. Now I will end up trimming this panel down a little bit, but for now I'm starting with an A2 panel. I'm going to line up the first layer of the Folk Winter Animals stencils onto my paper, and using Simon Says Stamp CADETTE ink, I'm going to ink blend just a solid color of blue across this background. This is going to give me a nice base to start with. These coloring layering stencils are really fun because they layer up together to build the beautiful background. It's very simple and easy to do. So once I have my first layer of color down, we'll remove the stencil, and you can see how our pattern is starting to come together. We're going to then bring in the second layer and start adding extra details. So this layer has some pieces that get added to the images, and then also some areas that are layering on top of the images. And for this I'm using Royal ink. It's a slightly darker shade of blue than Cadette, and so it's going to give me some nice contrast on top of the blending we've already done. So once I have ink blended the second layer, it's time to bring in the third, and this is where we're going to have some fun with paste. The paste that I'm using is from Picket Studios. It is their Christmas Cardinal Red Luxe paper glaze. This has such a beautiful glittery finish to it, and I'm just going to apply that through the stencil, which is going to give me some nice bright red color on top of these blues and create a really nice color combination. Very Scandinavian. Make sure you smooth out the paste nice and evenly so you get a nice even amount of coverage. You'll remove that stencil, and then here is our pretty pattern on top of our ink blending. I love mixing pastes and inks together to create different effects. So after the paste dried, I then brought in some more of that Royal and also Simon Says Stamp soft navy ink, and I added a little bit of blending around the edges to darken up those edges and make the center stand out. This is going to give some nice contrast to this background. I'm going to put this onto a soft navy cardstock card base that I made. It's an A2 size. It'll trim up the card really nicely. And to attach my card panel, I'm going to use Simon Says Stamp foam sheets behind my paper, so that way it gives it some nice stability and dimension off of the card panel. To attach that down, I did use Simon Says Stamp Terrific tape. It's a nice strong and easy to use adhesive. For a sentiment, I'm going to use our Simon Says Stamp ACETATE sentiment strips, and this is our Christmas pack. I'm going to use a sheet of gold deco foil so that I can go ahead and foil these sentiments with that beautiful gold, and that'll really pop off of our background. I'm going to trim my foil down so it's a little bit larger than my sentiment strips. We're going to foil the entire sheet all at once. I'm going to put this inside of a carrier sheet from ThermoWeb, and I always like putting a piece of cardstock on top. For my particular machine, my machine likes to have a little extra pressure. Every machine can be different. So if your machine likes having a little bit of extra pressure, just add another cardstock piece in there to help transfer that foil onto your sentiments. Once I finish running that through my mini Mink machine, or you can use a laminator, we have our nice beautiful greetings foiled onto this acetate. I'm going to trim one greeting out that I want to use for my card using my Tim Holtz mini trimmer. And then I'll stick this onto my card using some small pieces of foam tape on the edges where you won't see it. So this is going to give it a little bit of lift off of my background, which will give a little bit of shadow and make it stand out. To finish things off, I am going to add a few little gems using some stickers that I had in my stash to put on the centers of the flowers. This will really enhance those flowers and give this card a nice bit of sparkle. So that was card number 1. Now I'm going to make a trio of ornament cards using the brand new Fancy Cut Ornaments dies. These are the dies you get in the set, and these ornaments are so much fun to die cut. I'm going to die cut them from Simon Says Stamp Luxe Glitter cardstock. This is fantastic for making holiday cards. And I'm going to start first by die cutting the ornaments with the centers still attached. those centers of the ornaments actually can be removed, so you can die cut the shape of the ornament or the center separately. I'm going to leave them in just so that way I can easily cut the beautiful design that I want inside of my ornaments. And each ornament does have its own detail die, which is really fun. And by the way, look at how these shine on this Luxe glitter cardstock. So like I said, the ornament outline layer is actually a separate piece that you can cut off of the inner areas, which I need to do. So I separated the detail die from the main ornament itself so that way I could die cut them from other cardstocks, which will be backers for my ornaments. So here you can see I have 3 ornaments cut from both Luxe glitter cardstock and Simon Says Stamp metallic cardstocks. We've got rose gold on the left, matte silver in the middle, and matte gold on the right. And that's going to give me backers for each of these ornaments. To attach my ornaments together, I am going to use foam tape, which will give them some dimension off of those metallic layers. And this will really give a nice shadow behind our glitter cardstock, which will make these ornaments stand out. These are going to be the star of our cards. These metallic cardstocks look amazing with the Luxe glitter cardstock. They match really, really well together and can be used interchangeably for different cards. The fancy cut ornaments also comes with a little ornament topper, and it works for all 3 of the ornaments. So I die cut it 3 times from each of the coordinating metallic cardstocks that I used. So the rose gold metallic cardstock went on this ornament, and then of course I used a silver and a gold for the other 2. So each of my ornaments are going on their own individual card, and I'm going to use some patterned paper from American Crafts called Mittens and Mistletoe. I have it linked below in the video description along with all the other products I'm using. And I'm decorating each of the ornaments with gem stickers from my stash. So I've got some rainbow splash, some honeybee. These are really nice and add a really nice embellishment touch to these ornaments, makes them extra fancy. Like I said, the pattern paper is Mittens and Mistletoe, and there's some really fun patterns and cute little card panels in there. So I'm layering some stuff up to put behind each of my ornaments. These ornaments, by the way, you could put onto these cards and make them be able to be detached from the cards, so somebody can actually turn this into a literal ornament and hang it on their tree, which I think would be so much fun for the holidays. Or you could make them as ornaments and give as gifts. For my cards, I am just going to affix them onto my card and leave them as that, but I did want to tie a bit of twine across the top to give them a nice little bit of metallic touch. With the Winter Trees stamp and coordinating die set, I'm going to use these greetings to add onto my cards. So I've got Merry Christmas and Season's Greetings, and I'm actually going to stamp these a total of 2 times, so that way I can get 3 sentiments from this, and that way I'll have a greeting for each of my cards. I prepped the surface of my black cardstock with a powder tool and then stamped the greetings with embossing ink. Using gold embossing powder, I'll sprinkle that on top, and this will give me a really nice gold greeting to go with each of my cards. I'm going to use my Simon Says Stamp embossing clothespins to hold these little scraps of paper while I emboss them with my heat tool, set the powder, and then I'll use the coordinating dies to go ahead and cut the greetings out. I'm going to hold the dies in place with very, very low tack tape so they don't shift as I run this through my die cut machine. Once the greetings have been die cut, I now have one for each of my cards, which I'm just going to attach with a simple piece of foam tape. And you can see here, I made very simple cards because these ornaments are so spectacular. I did not want the cards to distract from how beautiful they were. So I kept things really clean and simple, and I love how they turned out. And like I said, you could temporarily adhere these ornaments onto the cards so that way the recipient could actually pull them off and stick them on their Christmas tree, which I think would be a lot of fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, seeing all of these different ideas on how you can use Hero Arts' new holiday release to make some very festive Christmas and holiday cards. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And if you're looking for any of the products that I mentioned today, you can find them all listed below in the video description or over on the blog. Thanks for tuning in, friends. I will be back soon to share more with you all, but until then, I hope you have a wonderful day.